Hello, it is your girl Em with Just Ask Em, and I am joined by the Nadira and Bradley, as well as Jimmy. He is here joined with us virtually, but he will be included in the interview as we go. And he is the owner of OM2H Studios, is that correct?
Yes, it
Yep,
is.
that's
Okay,
it.
so a lot of exciting things coming up for this crew here. We'll dive into that a little later. But for starters, I always like to do an intro of my guests so we know who we are speaking with. So, ladies first, what's a little bit about who Nadira is as an everyday lady?
Well, Nadira is a mother of three, a wife to Bradley over here. Um, I want to say I'm a model and actress on top of, well, next in line to that.
Jane of many trades.
Yeah, literally.
That's what I learned to sum it up.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, definitely. And
Yes.
we are I'm a business owner for Trini Personalities. It's a custom printing shop on the west side of Buffalo. So if you need anything printed, let me know.
And I love this because it literally like reminds me, and I'm like, I forget these people like do these
Yeah.
businesses. As you can see, my custom book, and I love to use everybody. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like I love my reliable people, but I love using a little bit of everybody. 'Cause you never
especially
know.
especially in Buffalo, everyone's
Yes.
doing something.
Exactly.
That's one of
It's
the
a way
best
to
parts
support.
about here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. How about you, Bradley?
Uh, Another jack of all trades.
Yes.
Husband, father. I'm really into photography, videography now. I will be directing the film that we're going to be shooting.
Very nice.
And all things automotive as well.
Ah, there you go. Okay, I will also keep that in mind. And yeah, oh my gosh, and I think I met you guys through Rafa, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I
that is
did.
correct.
And
Yeah.
I have to say, for not that age matters, but you are very young, and I just have to say, I admire you too. Your family, the base of everything you guys are doing phenomenally for your age. Like there was so much I didn't even have remotely figured out at your guys' age. So to just be a wife, a mother, wonderful couple, you're
Thank you
raising
very much.
kids,
Thank
the
you.
amount of like things that you're doing these days, it's almost essential in this economy. So
Oh, yeah.
keep doing your thing, absolutely. How about you, Jimmy? Who's Jimmy? This is a new intro for me as well because I haven't quite met you just yet. So who are you?
Oh, that's a very good question. Well, let's see. Yeah. Uh, well, I was born and raised in Buffalo. I was in the entertainment industry at a very young age, like starting in preschool, acting, and then I turned myself into sports. I was an athlete, and then I actually danced for 10, 15 years.
You said danced, right?
Um, yeah,
Oh
dance.
boy,
yeah.
we got all the trades in here. All right. Okay.
Yeah, I danced for the Future Dance Company. They're Hamburg. Like I said, for 10, 15 years, traveling all over
Very
the United
nice.
States, basically.
Cool. Very good. Literally that's why I never judge a book by its cover because when you just never know
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
somebody is capable of doing. You know what I mean? I dance in my own way, not professionally though. Some dance lessons soon. So Jimmy, how did the studio become a reality?
Actually, to tell you the truth, it was an accident.
Okay, I love that already.
It did not start as a studio. Actually, it started as a actual pop up brand of Market 304.
Okay.
And um, as I was doing my pop ups, like everywhere, I wanted mascots, right? So what I really did was took a sheet of paper and wrote down like I don't know how many names, right? And then my buddy, excuse me, drew up pictures for them,
Okay.
right? For every single character.
Okay.
And then I had one person in mind, the character Frenchie, right? That was going to be the like Ronald McDonald, like the boss
Okay.
of like the squad and everything else like that.
Yes.
So I basically did eeny, meeny, miny, mo on the paper, right?
Okay.
And picked, I think it was like four or five. I think it's four of them,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because I think there's five altogether. Um, and that's how it all started. And so I started like putting making banners and posters and putting them up at the pop-ups.
Mm-hmm.
Well, everybody was coming to the pop-up wasn't interested in the snacks and the drinks and all that. They were interested in the characters, and I was like, they're like, are these mascots? Are these characters? Like, who are these like people about?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, this is very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So I talked to one of my buddies, entrepreneur buddies, and he's like, yo, you got something here, right? Sometimes you need a pivot. So I was like, I don't know what to do. I thought about it for about maybe a month, right? And then still doing my pop-ups, but then like something clicked where I just sat down, looked at the original piece of paper and all the pictures, and I was like, well, I think we're either going to do something with all these characters now, not just 5 of them.
Right.
So I didn't know, at first I didn't know what to do. I didn't know if I wanted to do a comic book, a book, go straight into like making movies or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
So obviously, as it came about, I wrote the first book. I went to the book direction, and that was one process.
I could imagine.
Yeah. It was one process. So I just started writing, and I just started putting characters into play.
Okay.
And so eventually I was like, okay, what's this character going to do? What's this character going to do? Now, one of the main characters, Jimmy, he wasn't even a character or a mascot, right?
Okay.
I just
brainstormed him.
Basically brainstormed into him. And then so without giving the story away, I just started writing.
That's good.
And then there was like 4 different versions to this book.
Okay.
Like there's 2 main power couples in the book, right? And well, throughout the saga.
Yeah.
And I was just switching them around. I was like, okay, is this character going to be
right.
this person?
Well,
and I was like.
And there's so many things I kind of like about that, simply because I feel like a lot of the time the hardest part is figuring out where you're going to start with something. And I do feel like the most exciting things are the things that start spontaneously. So and that's where that overthinking comes in a lot of the time. People try to perfect it. They need it to be this before they even get started. Whereas it seems like you just, hey, this looks cool. You started it. It turned into something. Everything is research, whether you go out, whether you fail, whether it works out the way it did or it didn't as you expected. That's one thing I've learned too in entrepreneurship is just like you got out there and you tried. Your research was seeing the feedback from people, and you're like, okay, I didn't even have to, I could have saved money on the snacks. You guys are more interested in,
that's right.
Like the characters that, that I have. And I think that's so cool because it's like you built off that. You capitalized off of like, okay, whatever got the attention of those people who were interested, who attended, you maximized on that. And I think that's so important because there's so many people with businesses and it's not often that they actually listen to their clients.
Right.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's like you have a business because you have clients. So at the end of the day, you may be the professional, but I think there's such a large importance that you have to listen to your audience, your clients, what product or service are you creating, and is it what your supporters enjoy or want,
Exactly.
So just even the start to that is like is great. But and I know you were going into the details of it all, but before we get there, one of the things you mentioned was your goal is kind of to build a connected universe across film, TV, and projects. What is that like? Explained a little more in detail. How does that play into the current project that you're working on?
Well, let's see. So it started off with one book, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, well, I just can't have this like one book because at the end of the book, is a little preview or say of like something else.
Right.
So I was like, I just can't end it here. Mm-hmm. So I was like, do I make a trilogy? So I was like, no, I don't really want to make a trilogy. So for the rest of the books, I said I'm just gonna make a 6-book saga. It's gonna be a saga, and I was like, so what are these books gonna be called? So I just started playing with that too. And once again, after I got all the book, I had book 1 down. It wasn't even called The Grind. It was called originally. It was called One Mind, Two Hustlers.
Okay.
Right, and then I put the rest of the book names, and I didn't even know a storyline to that either. So once again, I just started writing the second book.
And the One
Right,
Mind Two
playing
Hustlers,
around
that's
with that.
actually your studio name, right? OM2H?
Yep.
Okay,
That's it.
perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so yeah, I just started playing around with that, and so I wrote the second book. Then I wrote the third book, and then after the third book, I was like, that's when the whole actual studio came into play, because I built it. Actually, the studio was just like a holding company at first for all the characters in the books, right? And then I got to thinking, I was talking to one of my buddies from LA that's actually an A-list celebrity out there and everything else
Very
like
nice.
that.
Yeah.
And he's like, what are you going to do with this? Are you just going to have books? What are you going to do with it? And so I was like, well, I really like to entertain people. And he's like, okay, well, you got 2 choices. You either can make them into plays like Tyler Perry did.
There you go.
Start off with
Yeah.
movies or whatever the case may be. And I was like, oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
So the original, actually, for the studio, because me and my buddy got to talking, I got talking to other people in the entertainment industry that I knew. It wasn't just to make the books into movies or
Right.
whatever. The original version of the studio, like the main message of the studio that I wanted to bring out was people can come to the studio and build a team where they don't have to chase gigs anymore.
I love
They don't
that.
have to,
Yeah.
that they're one big it was going to be one big umbrella, right? And then you'd have the universe, obviously, of the saga
Yes.
and everything connected to that, and outside projects where people would, hey, I want to do a comedy, I want to do a crime
Yeah.
thriller, or whatever
Yeah.
the case may be.
And I love,
So that was
like,
the-
yeah, and that's like great too, simply because like in the world, all of pretty much everything that
Oh, yeah.
each one of us do, the world of creativity is both amazing and overwhelming.
Yes.
Just because it's like there's so many things you mentioned. There's literally probably endless possibilities like in each of them, but it's like, how do you control your mind to like get them organized enough of, we're going to keep this in this spot, we're going to keep this in this spot, so it's almost like you have to control your mind enough to think of the end goal and work backwards.
Right.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Without like, oh my God, I got to do everything at once, So I definitely think like probably each one of us definitely have a creative mind, but it's in the aspect of, okay, how do we create this so the audience understands? Because even with all of our businesses, we all know our expertise, but
Right.
how do we present it and promote it in a way that it's understandable to the everyday person?
Of course.
You know what I mean? So like, would you say even in some of your industries or working with Jimmy and being the director, how does what are the pros and cons of the creative part of this whole project?
So we kind of like nipped that in the butt earlier
Yeah, we
Okay.
in
Yeah.
when we were creating, well, not creating, but building off of the studio he already had.
Okay.
And right now we're actually co-CEOs of the studio.
Okay,
So
I
the
love that.
studio is the One Mind,
Okay.
and then we're the Two Hustlers.
See, that's like this like explaining stuff. It helps. I'm visual, so now I just visualize the name, and now that makes me understand.
Yeah,
Okay.
Exactly.
so
I love
Yeah.
that.
we have it separated in different tiers, so
Yes.
that way everyone who wants to be a part of the studio, they have the
Yes.
opportunity to do what they gotta do and learn from the
Mm-hmm.
studio without being overwhelmed by what actually comes with the studio. So
love
there's
that.
whatever level you're comfortable at, that's the level that you
Yes.
work at, basically.
That's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
And simply, and like I said, just what you said, like you nipped it in the bud, because that just shows you're building on teamwork from the start.
Yes.
And unfortunately, like I'll speak on Buffalo because that's where I'm from and what I know. You know, that mindset is a struggle here where like it's great that everybody has their own thing, but sometimes I'm like, a lot of these things are the same thing. What if you came together?
Yeah.
You still have your individuality,
Yeah.
but like, oh my God, imagine
Now
coming
everyone
together.
can help
Yeah.
each other out, and
Yeah.
instead of you struggling on something that someone else is excelling in, and
Exactly.
you know, like
Yeah.
it'll
And
just
just-
balance out.
And just offering the tiers of, hey, if this is where you're comfortable, like cool, but here are these other tiers when you are ready.
Yeah.
Right.
That in itself is wonderful, where it's just like, yeah, just the whole collaboration idea, or like you said, you know, giving people the different options of, hey, you can do like comedy, you can do a comic, you
Yeah.
can do like a whole movie or short film, this and that. That's definitely, that's great. And like I said, that it just, there's endless possibilities, and those industries are always great because you'll never get bored
Yeah,
or be
Yeah.
left
of
without
course.
something
Yeah.
new.
And anyone who needs experience too, they can just get the experience. It's not professional yet, but who is?
Listen,
Right.
girl, I'm still
It-
5 classes away from an associate's degree, but with all my experience, I can get my foot in the door before the person with the degree.
exactly.
So,
So
professional or not, like the experience is experience.
Of course.
And-
'Cause at the end of the day,
just repetition.
exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, practice makes perfect. Not
Yeah.
that perfect should be a goal, but you know. Yes. So, where does the inspiration come from for these films?
That's a Jimmy.
He got this one.
I can tell you're full of
the
ideas.
Oh, yeah.
The first book, let's go with the first book, not even the characters.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess we can go with the characters too. But the first book was, I call it the, how can I put it? The nonfiction fictional story.
Okay.
So with the so I had all the characters. So when going back to the drawing board, right, I had all these characters, right? So I was like, okay, we're gonna use all these characters, but what do I do with these? What kind of story do I want to put?
Mm-hmm.
So I added the character Jimmy. Like I said, he was never a character. He was never so. Jimmy in the story, that's why I call it the non-fiction fictional, because I added what Jimmy does in the book and now the movie is loosely based on my real life experience.
Okay. I like that.
So I took myself, put me in there, and put my name, my last name's in there, and everything like that. So I took my real life experiences from dealing with anxiety and depression and overcoming that, and getting a mentor in entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
And so I took those and how I felt and put it as a fictional twist.
Okay, I like that. I'm keeping up. Yeah.
So that's why I call it it's a non-fiction fictional, because you could. How can I put
No,
it?
I'm actually glad you
People
explained
can't
that,
tell.
because that helped me understand. We're like, okay, that's almost like an oxymoron, but now I get the non-fictional fictional in the sense of, number one, anxiety and depression is probably a real thing in everybody. Like,
In
we just need to
everyone.
throw that in there. That's literally my podcast. Everybody asks what it's about. It's the topics we don't speak on enough. If y'all think I ain't got anxiety, why you think I'm always moving? I literally just channel it into creativity,
Right.
Yeah.
into businesses, into this and that. So I think the most important thing is you being comfortable, being aware that, yo, I struggle with anxiety and depression, but here's what I'm going to do with it. And I'm going to show you, just to put a twist on it. You know what I mean? Like that in itself is like, not a lot of people's brain works that way. You know, so good for you to kind of add that creativity and be comfortable enough to do it with something that actually personally relates to you.
Yeah, I just put a fictional twist on it. Like,
Yeah.
like the characters in the book are actual all fictional, except or even Jimmy's a fictional character. It just happens to be my name.
Yeah.
But like Trevor, there's the mentor, right,
Okay.
of Jimmy. That was based on my mentor first, that got me going and everything else like that of entrepreneurship and getting me out of depression. He died, right? Trevor dies in the book. So
Okay.
like I said, I took my real life experience and just put a fictional twist on it.
Yeah. I really like that. That's interesting.
Yes.
Yes. And like I said, it's admirable.
Of
That's what
course.
I'm trying to say. Because,
course.
the world we live in, society, social media, everybody's kind of busy covering that up, and, the facades. And no, I'm great. I'm living my best life. And like sometimes, some days it's just not
And
like that. And
it
that's
can
okay.
Not at
really
all.
help someone too, because
Yeah.
if they are struggling and feel like they're alone in this,
Having that safe space.
this shows them you can do it, and it gives them the motivation to be like, oh, I can do something like this too.
Yes, and it's funny because I'd really be like, God, you got a way of just connecting and aligning things. It's almost too good to be true. I am a personal assistant by day in a mental health office, and a lot of the time we think anxiety, depression. Okay, I got to go to therapy. I got to go to therapy. Therapy is cool, but it doesn't fix everything.
Yeah.
And
Right.
for some people, it can become a crutch. And now you become so reliant on the therapy, you think, oh my God, I can't do this without therapy, when really it's in the mind. You know what I mean?
Exactly,
So, yes, one mind, two hustlers. It's proof that no one person can do it all on their own. So like you said, if a person like me, I'm usually strong, I'm usually on it. I got my days where I'm just like, I'm checked out, I can't do
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Now if I'm like, hey Nadira, I need to pick me up. Like give me something that I can not necessarily go to the negativity of what I'm feeling right now, because I know this
Yeah.
feeling isn't going to last forever. But I think what people struggle with is not kind of surrendering to it so much that now it's keeping them down. So like you said, like how can you be creative to almost turn your anxiety or depression into something for a better purpose, a higher
Right.
purpose of, hey, you might be going through this, but you doesn't mean you have to stay there. You can turn it into this.
turn
You
it
can,
into something
you know what I
else.
mean?
That's
You can
right.
find people, find your space that can help you get out of that funk, or like, hey, it's just a creative block, but it doesn't last forever. What is it that you're looking for, or what is it that you might feel gives you clarity to kind of, okay, get back on track. Like I personally ran into that recently where I'm just like, I'm like in this gray area, but like slowly but surely you just keep pushing forward.
Oh, yeah.
And doors will open.
And yeah, and like I said, the people who you align with, it's always refreshing to kind of find people who are excited about certain ideas and passionate. But Bradley, okay, so with all that being said, how does it feel directing something like this? What does that look like?
So it feels great. I've obviously never done anything like this before. However, I have been told before that with my photography and certain videos and stuff that I've taken in the past, that I have somewhat of an eye for
Yes.
it. So getting to actually use a professional camera. And get to kind of put my creativity on the screen.
Absolutely.
It's been a pretty great feeling
rewarding.
so far. Oh,
Yeah.
Definitely.
And that's always nice because, like, what I always say is I created my businesses because I'm on the other side of you, in the sense of you're the talent. So,
Yeah.
like you said, so it's very nice when somebody kind of gives you that reminder and confidence of you have an eye for it, because most of the time you're the person who's you need to be focused on the
Yeah.
craft, the talent,
Right.
Being locked in of capturing this and that. Whereas like my niche is tell me your vision and I'll organize it and put it into perspective so it runs smoothly so you
Right.
can focus on what you need to be focusing on.
And
That's
and
pretty
that's these
much-
two right here.
Yeah.
That's pretty much how it works out too, because for the scenes that we have filmed so far, and we did start shooting, we're about 20 scenes in.
Okay.
I actually set everything up. I block the spots. I tell him exactly like, okay, so in this scene we have to capture the talent doing this at this angle, at this time, this pace,
Yep.
and then he's over there like, okay, I got him in frame. Now
Yeah.
explain.
Because it's so much to process. You can only
Yes.
do
Of
so
course,
much at
yeah.
once. So yeah, so to kind of find that crew who like, okay, work together, there's, and it just blends well. That's usually like the win. And that's where like, I feel like the biggest successful, greatest projects come, where you got people with the same mindset, you're on the same page, you got the same energy, same
Right.
vibes. So that's great. Yes. So am I correct in saying, I know you said you have the 6 books, correct? Is it
Yes.
6 books? But you're turning it into a movie?
Yeah, so it would be I don't know if you're like like comic books,
Yeah.
Marvel, whatever.
Yes.
I kind of like, how can I put it? Compare it to that.
Okay.
So the
Yeah.
6 books the 6 books. So you got The Grind, The Broken Brotherhood. Oh my God! Hold on a second.
No, come on. No.
The Rise of the Fallen,
Okay.
The Blood in the Brew Plant, The Empire of Ghosts, and The Queen of the Ruins. So
Okay.
those were like all the Avenger movies.
Yes.
Right. And
Okay.
then you have like the movies or TV series that we do connecting all that like Marvel does with TV
gotcha.
shows and movies.
Yeah. So it's almost like a connection from the books to the movies.
Yes. So each book is going to be its own movie.
Yes.
So we're going to have hopefully 6 movies done, and in between the first and the second movie there's going to be a limited series
Okay.
to just kind of bridge into
Yes,
the second movie.
I like that. Okay.
With also giving a little bit more backstory that you didn't get in the first movie.
I have
certain
found my people who
characters.
understand my brain. And that's like I said, there's so many when I tell you, Jane of many trades is not like an exaggeration. I've worked every industry you can think of, and I used to think that was a bad thing. Fast forward to now, it actually made me so appreciative to see the difference where it's like a patient, a customer, and a client are very different things. So when you see different things in those lights, you then understand better how to cater to that person.
Yes.
Right.
So even something like for me, I don't like school. I don't do well with you put a book in me, I'll read it and I won't retain it. I'm hands-on, I'm visual. So something like that where if I'm watching the first one, it's going, and then you're giving me like a series to kind of summarize it. So then it prepares me to go into the second. That's how my brain works. That's how it helps me retain it. So that in itself is great. So the Inside the Grind, that's the first book and first movie?
So it's One Mind, Two Hustlers.
Okay.
The Grind.
The Grind.
Okay, but that's the first
That's
one?
the first
Okay,
one,
so
yes.
when you make it to the 6 and you make it big, just remember, you started here.
Of course.
Yes. Yeah, oh my God. So I'm excited about this.
So you have basically 3 parts to it. So you got the
Yeah.
studio, this One
You
Mind
got the
Two
first
Hustlers
one there.
Studios, right?
Yeah.
And then inside the studio, you have the universe, which would be the Frenchie Extended Universe.
Okay.
And then inside of the universe is the One Mind, Two Hustlers saga. So every book is called One Mind, Two Hustlers, The Grind.
Okay.
One Mind, Two Hustlers, Broken Brotherhood, etc.
And then it goes into those different titles that you just listed.
Yes.
Okay. So I see. I'm catching on. Okay, got it. So, okay, with all that being said, that's exciting. That's so much to look forward to. I love that you have a lady on the team because it's what we do. We just we just be organized. This is our niche. You give us the ideas, we put it into perspective, we make it happen. So
Exactly.
perfect queen to have on your team to kind of bring it all together. Excuse me. So you have an event coming up in May. Tell me a little bit about that.
Oh, that's all that.
Oh my. Okay, so yes.
On May
I mean,
20th?
I made the connection, I made the funny one, but like.
Okay. And I was gonna say,
Put that all up into play.
I love it because Buffalo Creative Workshop, I previously did a podcast episode with them. So when I seen that, I said, oh my God, I said, that's amazing. So that's great that the location I at least know is going to be at Buffalo
Oh,
Creative
100%. Yep.
Workshop. I did do a previous podcast episode. I think that's the perfect space for something like this. So what are the details?
It is amazing. As soon as we walked in and we saw
Yeah.
the place, that was it. I was like,
We-
I already
we-
started
comments and stuff,
imagining
yeah.
where everything
Shout out to
was.
Tim.
Right.
Yes.
So yeah, May 23rd at the Buffalo Creative Workshop, which is also Bradley's birthday.
birthday.
Ah, okay. Happy birthday. Yes.
This is gonna be a first look trailer
Okay.
event. There's gonna be raffles. There's gonna be food, drink, not alcoholic drinks,
Yes.
just regular
Right.
drinks.
Which is fine because you don't always need an alcoholic drink to have fun. So I like
Exactly.
that.
And plus we want it open for all ages. So
Okay,
children are
nice.
welcome to come as
Yes.
well. We're gonna have that little trailer because the movie will already be done filming.
Okay.
We're gonna have a little skit going on
Cool.
with the cast
Yes.
meet and greet, question and answers, so anybody can like ask what they want to know if they're confused.
Hey, you're more than welcome.
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely.
That's exciting. Okay, so that's a Saturday, right?
Actually, I forgot.
I think.
No, I think it's a Monday, isn't it?
Oh,
No, it's not.
I'm pretty sure it's a Saturday, but
It's a Friday or a Saturday.
May 23rd.
I think it's a Saturday.
Yes, it is a
Is
Saturday.
it okay? So Saturday, May 23rd. What are the times again?
6 to 9.
Okay, perfect. And then, if I'm correct, 255 Lawn.
255 Great Arrow.
Great
Lane.
Arrow, Great Arrow
Yes.
Lane. Yeah, so
Yes.
255 Great Arrow, Buffalo Creative Workshop. If it's not through me, I'm sure you've been familiar with them through social media. And that's going to be Saturday, May 23rd from 6 to 9 p.m. Tickets are $10. I believe you can purchase them through Cash App.
Cash App,
Yep.
Zelle.
Can they do it at the door?
Yes,
At
we
the
are
doors, well.
accepting at the doors.
Okay, perfect.
And it's not the easiest place to find once you actually enter the building, so we will be putting up signs
Perfect.
showing
Yeah.
you where to go.
Yes, yeah. I know what's upstairs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, absolutely. This is exciting for me because I'm not gonna lie. I was like, okay, this is a different topic I really haven't had on my podcast. So I wasn't nervous, but I was
It was something
interested.
new, yeah.
It was
Right.
something new. So I'm absolutely excited to have been a part of it. This episode, although we're pre-recorded, but it will be posted Monday. March 9th, because these days are a blur.
Oh, yeah.
But absolutely honored because you will be my last official episode of my first completed year. So super
look at that.
honored. Great way to go out
To
with a
end
bang.
it.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, super proud.
Yeah.
You know, March 10th will be, like I said, the year of my podcast. So everything you're doing, you seem confident in it. I love that for you guys. I look forward to kind of keeping up with it. And yeah, I'll be sure to tag all of these wonderful people on social media, connect with them, stay tuned, you know, keep up. This is local, so that's even, you know, makes it better.
Yeah, why not bring Buffalo up some more?
We
That's
do.
right. Yeah.
And that's the thing. I said, like, Buffalo is a great city. I feel like sometimes the mindset is a struggle here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there is so much creativity. Like,
yeah.
there's way too much creativity that we are not accessing together.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we look forward to it. Thank you for joining us. Let's broadcast the hell out of it.
Oh,
Promos
yeah.
all day.
Definitely.
Yeah. So you heard it here. Make sure you continue to tune in and subscribe. Just Ask M.